Welcome back to Free Thinking Express. We got another video. This one's with Billy Carson explaining time. What is time to you? Does it exist? What is time to you?
And Thoth said, "List ye, O man, take of my wisdom, learn of his deep hidden mysteries of space." He says the deep hidden mysteries of space. He's talking about the ether of space-time itself, this soup that we're living in. Learn of the thought that grew in the abyss, bringing order and harmony in space. He's talking about the thought. Thoth, the word thought comes from the name Thoth. That's how we originated the name. But what he's talking about, thought that grew in the abyss, talking about out of nothing came a thought. What is the first Hermetic principle? All is mind. That is the very first Hermetic principle.
Now, you heard it in my other videos and you went and looked and read the Kabbalion. You'll understand the 7 Hermetic principles. Those are the 7 major rules you have to follow. Those are the rules above all rules. Those are natural law rules, God's rules. That is the balance system of the world, the universe, you, and everything in it and around it. You must be able to learn these Hermetic principles, understand them, and apply them to your life. You can't just go thinking you know, but not apply. You'll be a fool of your own knowledge. You won't get far, but be just talking.
And so, since all is mind, we're seeing here how the principles laid out many thousands of years later still fall back to the original, which is 36,000 years old. Know ye, O man, that all exists has being only because of the law. Know ye the law, and ye shall be free. Never be bound by the fetters of night. What he's saying.
Hear that? You shall be free. You will be free. It will make you free. It doesn't say it will set you free. You're not chained up. You're not locked up. Your spirit is not bound. Your spirit can, let's say this. Your spirit can shoot across many galaxies, many places. They call it astral projection. Some will say it's meditation. But you have to be willing to put in the work to understand and gain the knowledge of how your spirit really works. Because your spirit can go to places that your ancestors want to show you. For example, I had a question that was sitting on my mind. I wanted to know so badly that when I went to sleep, I dreamed I was in the galaxy. I went from one galaxy to another to another. And then there was this ball of light that I was speeding towards. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know why I was speeding. But in a split second, I had a thought. If I go to this light, I gotta start all over again. Don't go to the light. Dodge the light. In the moment I dodged the light, it was so close. It wasn't even a hair on my arm in length, short of a distance from touching that light. And as I passed that light and I looked as I passed it, I wondered if I would have died in my sleep if I went into that light. But I'm glad I didn't. I wouldn't be here to tell you the story, let alone give you this information. But as I turned back around, it got darker, 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 and darker. Till I ended up in this place and I went through an arch. It wasn't just any arch. It was more of a Stargate arch. Because as I was approaching this arch, I could see the other side and I could see through, and there were two different things. I didn't go around the arch. I went through and inside of that arch. And I saw all the knowledge I wanted to know. Everything I could think of, I wanted to know. And right when I was about to ask the right question, because at that moment, time did not exist. And I found out there is no such thing as time. You about to find that out in this video. It's just a construct of your own mind. But I found out in that dream time didn't exist because I had so much time to go through a very vast library of information. And anything I wanted to know, it was as if it came flying off the shelf. Not a book, but the information right in front of me in blue lettering on a black background. And boom, I had all the information and I was able to scan and read so fast through all of it. And I went to ask one question. Instead of sitting there and just learning, I went to ask, what is the purpose of all of this, of the beginning and the end of it all? And I was thrown out. And as I was thrown out, I was given an equation. I couldn't figure out what that equation was until I came across the flower of life. And that's when the mindset of life made complete and most insane way possible, the most complete sense. And I understood it all from beginning to end. Now, hopefully, y'all get it. Those in the mindset of life on our website, they already know the secrets. We can't share certain knowledge here online. We can't share it publicly because as you go deeper into your knowledge and you actually become chosen to gain the knowledge and share with others, you find out as you get deep and deep into your knowledge, you're told 3 different ways not to share the knowledge with people who are not willing and wanting to learn and know. For example, people will ask, are you asking or seeking? I can't tell you who these people are, but I can tell you they will ask if you're asking or seeking. If you're asking, you will not get an answer. But if you're seeking, then you will get an answer. The Bible says, seeking you shall find. But when it comes to your soul and it has that search and that hunger to know the truth, there is no stopping. It's going to eat at you. It might even keep you up at night the way it did me. But y'all got to know the secret and be willing and wanting to learn it and apply it to your life in order to do better, not just for yourself and your family, but others as well. Because at the end of it all, there are souls that are yearning to push you, and you don't listen. People say you got a guardian angel. Well, that guardian angel is you. Are you going to listen? Or are you just going to keep doing things your own way? What is your soul and your spirit telling you? What are you feeding it? What knowledge are you feeding your spirit? Like, here's a secret. Every time you go to sleep, you die. You might be like, what? What am I talking about? Every time you go to sleep, you die. Your soul returns back to where it was when you go to sleep. It goes back to the beginning. But the thing is, do you remember it? Where do you think the dreams come from? You're on another frequency, another path, a whole new world. But you gotta be able to discern. And the moment you do, you have a lucid dream. When you start controlling what's in the dream, you know what's happening and going on. But what is your soul searching for? What knowledge is it seeking out? Because as you go to sleep and you wake up, you have a question every day. But the first thing you do is grab the phone. You don't even meditate on your thoughts. That's the first thing y'all should do. Wake up extra 30 minutes to an hour early just to meditate on your thoughts, your day. And start it off striving high with positivity. But let's hop back into this video. Y'all think about that.
Thing here is, once you understand this law, once you understand this universal law that all is mind, that mind transcends space and time, that mind then also goes out and sets out to create, it will set you free. You ever heard of a person that's talking about being imprisoned, right? And they've endured many, many years of imprisonment, and some of them become enlightened, and you ask them, how did you do the time? They say their mind was never in prison because the mind can travel, right?
Yes, the mind can travel. It can escape with books, all of that. But a lot of people right now, what I'm speaking on about, yeah, modern day slaves. Their mind is trapped. People going around trying to wake them up. Ain't no need. Get with like-minded people who are already woke up. Learn from each other. Grow. Expand and share the knowledge. Because at the end of it all being said and done, all I can say is this: your mind should never be stuck in a box. It should always be imagining and creating, building, constructive. So it's like at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, what are you going to be able to do and say about it all being done and everything like that? Because when you do it all, it's also going to be up to you to be able to get it all straight. Because if you don't have it all straight and you just get it all back and forth, you ain't gonna know which way is up, which way is down, and your right from your left. Learn all of this stuff. Grow together. You have to be willing to unicize. When I say unicize, I mean get in small groups. Don't get in large groups. Scare too many people. Getting in large groups costs too much. And that's what we supporting is large groups just doing stuff. What we support is groups sharing knowledge. Because groups get too large and just start meeting up, it causes people a lot of concern. And next thing you know, it's a situation of people just trying to grow. That's why it's best to do like seminars and stuff like that. But to do maybe 500,000 people all at once, not a good idea. So as you look into all of this and your mind starts to travel like it's doing right now, guess what? Your mind is only in the cage if you let it. Just like it can go out the door, it can stay inside with the door shut. It's up to you to let your mind out. Express your free thinking. Don't keep it locked away.
Look at remote viewers. I did a whole workshop on remote viewing. It's on Forbidden Knowledge TV. If you look at remote viewers, what do you see? You see that we're able to set our mind outside of space and time and gather intel on targets and locations. Why is that? Because the mind can transcend space and time. So what he's saying here is, know ye the law, and ye shall be free. Your mind shall be free. They can lock up the body, but they can never lock up the mind unless you give them authority to. Never be bound by the fetters of night. Never be locked up by darkness. Far through strange spaces have I journeyed into the depth of the abyss of time. This man's talking about time travel 36,000 years ago. He says, far through the strange spaces I have journeyed into the depth of the abyss of time, until in the end, all was revealed. So he went back, probably and forward in time, looking and learning along the way. Know ye that mystery is only a mystery when it is knowledge unknown to man. Listen to that. Mystery is only a...
People fear what they don't know. It's just a mystery. Solve it. What you scared of? Finding out. Don't be scared. I'll be truth.
a mystery when it is knowledge unknown to man. So it's only a mystery because you don't know about it, right? Anything that you don't know about is a mystery to you. We have to learn about it. It's a mystery to most people. How does a cell phone work? It's a mystery because they've never looked into it. They never studied it. They have no knowledge of how a cell phone actually works. It just magically lights up and they can hear somebody on the other end. They don't really understand how it works. It's like a mystery. Until you study the science behind how it works and the technology behind how it works, then it becomes no mystery anymore because you have gained the knowledge. When you have plumbed the heart of all mystery, knowledge and wisdom will surely be thine. In other words, he's saying here, when you have studied the depth of information, of knowledge against something that's a mystery to you, then it won't be a mystery to you anymore. You'll be wise. And this is a message to us for many things we can apply to in our lives. In other words, let's stop
knowledge becomes wisdom. Are you willing to study and learn the wisdom? Are you willing to burn that midnight oil? Somebody got to burn it. Can't burn it for you. I got to burn that midnight oil. Put in that work. AKA research. The truth is buried for a reason. But it always slowly comes out. Can you catch it? Let's see.
guessing and being ignorant to things that we should have knowledge of. Things are holding us back in life. Things are keeping us locked down. There's situations that are being withheld from us, blessings that we're actually not getting access to, simply because we won't put the energy into gaining the wisdom and knowledge to set ourselves free from the lack of knowledge, which is called ignorance. Seek ye and learn that time is the secret whereby ye may be free of this space. He's saying once you have the knowledge of time and how it works, how to send your mind through time, you'll be free of this space. In other words, the space that you're in, not space in the stars, but the space that you're occupying at this moment in time. So I add some conjecture to this. Thoth is telling us again what the sages of old have been saying for eons. Time does not exist. Clocks exist. When your scientists figure this out, they will rediscover what the ancients already knew. According to the theory of special relativity, it explains how there's a difference of time that elapses between two events as measured by observers. For example, if one person moves faster than another person, then the first person will experience time at a slower rate. And the clock, the faster the person is carrying, will tick slower than the clock the second person is carrying. With this understanding, it is not so difficult to accept the fact that the arrow of time is an illusion. If you lived in the fourth dimension or higher, you would be able to see the past, present, and future all at once. In general relativity, clocks that are near the stronger gravitational field of a planet run slower. This is an actual scientific fact. When I went to Egypt, I took them to the Great Pyramid at Giza, 2 million blocks of stone. Every single one of us, as we approached the Great Pyramid, time began to slow down for us. It's called time dilation. Why? Because those 2 million blocks of stone have so much mass that it creates a time dilation bubble around us. And so as a person that's standing directly next to the Great Pyramid is experiencing time microns slower than the person that is 100 miles away from the Great Pyramid, or closer to less mass. And so we know this. So time is bendable. Time is malleable. It's not a straight arrow. All right. A straight arrow of time is actually an illusion. And we know that these time dilation bubbles exist. And if you get into an airplane and fly from here to California, I'm in Florida, fly from Florida to California, and I'm standing on the ground, because of relativity, you're actually going to become Planck units of age younger than me, as I'm standing on the ground experiencing time at a much higher rate. And because you're moving in a plane that's moving at 450 miles an hour or 500 miles an hour, you're experiencing time at a slightly slower rate. So we know that time travel into the future is 1,000% possible because we do it every single day. Anybody that's moving away at a speed from a person that's standing in a still location, that will create a time travel experiment. We know, for example, anyone who's ever gotten on a rocket is now slightly younger than the people that stayed on Earth. All right? If you were to travel away from Earth at the speed of light for 1 light year and come right back another light year, that's 2 light years, 1 light year up, 1 light year back, the people on Earth would have aged probably 20 years. So we know that time traveling to the future and staying on the same exact timeline is perfectly normal. It only seems that the timeline changes when you go backwards in time. Time traveling backwards in time leads you to an alternative timeline, which is why you can go back in time and bump into yourself. You also have the grandfather paradox, where if you go back in time and clear your grandfather, well, how in the world were you able to go back in time? Because you should have never been born. But this can only be done because once you go back in time, you slip into an alternative timeline. In other words, in the multiverse, there is a sea of universes. And going back in time transfers you in some unexplainable way into an alternative timeline. Okay? Let me get back to Thoth. Thoth says, "Long have I, the God of wisdom, sought wisdom, I, and shall seek eternity's end. For know that ever before me receding shall move the goal I seek to attain. Even the lords of the cycles know that not yet have they reached the goal. For with all their wisdom, they know that truth ever grows." He's talking about the fact that knowledge is a lifelong journey. Knowledge is not something, oh, I know this, I'm done, I'm good to go, I'm good.
You hear that? You hear that? Knowledge is a lifelong journey. That's why I said in my other videos, if you're not growing, you're dying. You learn every day. You can't know everything. You don't even have the headspace to know everything. It's impossible to know everything for one logical reason. You can't be smart and dumb. So you can't know every dumb thing and every smart thing. Which means you can't know everything. Just to be logical and kind of example type way. I wanted to say something else, but I want to get back to my thought with the whole fact of knowledge being it's just much. Like even we are trying to retain knowledge and information to pass down to the next generation. And we have to filter through all of it to make sure we ain't just saving something over and over and over that's just being regurgitated. because it's just, you gotta realize we're not in a box, because our information is so vast. A lot of other people, they're somewhat in the box, then somewhat not in the box, but they're in their own lane. We're going to show y'all all lanes. That way, y'all are able to achieve whatever it is that your soul is yearning and searching for to better yourselves, your family, and others. Because if not, a lot of this knowledge is going to disappear and get buried again. And the next 2 generations to come up will come up knowing less than the generation before it. And that is a pitiful downfall. Not a sad, but a pitiful downfall. The son and daughters are always supposed to be better than the mother and fathers. But again, you gotta want to have the drive, the focus, and the discipline to want this knowledge. You can't just, like he said, think you got it and done. Okay, you read the book. What's next? Okay, you accomplished the goal. What's next? Okay, you did what you said you were going to do. What's next? What's next? That's your question to yourself. But yeah, ask this question to yourself every time you have to do something. Is this getting me towards my goal? Is this driving me and pushing me to what I want? You have to figure out what it is you're going to do. Because at some point in life, you're going to look back and be like, damn, I wish I should have, I could have, but you didn't. The signs were in your face, but you didn't. You were being told, but you didn't. It was in your own little world, trapped as a modern day slave, just living life, completing the cycle instead of breaking the cycle and starting your own cycle. You can start your own cycle. You just got to change your environment and your mindset. Are you willing to do
I got
it?
everything I need to know now. I'm good. I'm straight. No, that's not how it works. A true seeker of knowledge and wisdom knows that it's a lifetime, everlasting journey. You never stop seeking and learning and gaining wisdom and knowledge. The day that you do is the day that you start dying spiritually. He said, even the lords of the cycles know that not yet have they reached the goal. For with their own wisdom, they know that truth ever grows. There's more truth and more truth. And sometimes previous ideas or concepts or hypotheses can be overturned if you are a true truth seeker. If you really are truly seeking wisdom and understanding, over time, not all, but some of your concepts and ideas and perspectives will begin to evolve and change. It's not dogmatic. A truth seeker is not dogmatic in their belief system. Dogmatic belief is religion. Dogmatic belief is politics. Spiritual understanding and growth seeks attainment of adept initiate knowledge.
And that is what you need to do. You need to grow yourself spiritually, mentally. You have to change your mindset, your thinking, your thoughts, how to handle situations, what them situations mean, what you're supposed to do in those situations, how to turn them situations into money, how to turn them situations into abundance and positivity. As Jesus or Yeshua would say, whichever you choose, turn the other cheek. But you have to make a way for yourself to want to grow. If you don't grow, you don't pass it on, you don't share it, who are you helping besides yourself? Because once you go with the knowledge, who gets to be able to use it to help better their lives? You're taking the wisdom with you. But it's a non-stop journey. I can tell you this much. It's fun. Just got to enjoy it and learn the lessons.
Stop. Once in a past time, I spoke to the dweller. He's talking about the dweller of Undal, which is really his father. Asked of the mystery of time and space. Asked him the question that surged in my being, saying, "O master, what is time?" Then he spoke to me, he the master. Know ye, O Thoth, in the beginning there was void and nothingness, a timeless, spaceless nothingness. And into the nothingness came a thought, purposeful, all pervading, and it filled the void. There existed no matter, only force of movement, a vortex. We're talking about a torus energy field or vibration. Vibration. What is a vibration? Cymatics. In the beginning was the word, and the word was what? Vibration, frequency, cymatics, sound. Of the purposeful thought that filled the void.
You hear that? Vibration, frequency, sound, the words, the beginning of creation. Frequency, sound, vibrations. Vibrations, they can determine whether you're going to have good or bad around you, or they can determine whether you're going to have good or bad happen to you. So be aware. Very, very aware. Because sometimes you could be so positive and want something so bad, the universe would kill a person just to be able to make sure it happens for you. And I don't mean like go out and have some strange death, but you will end up putting so much pressure where a person may or may not lose their life from the pressure. Some people crack, some people break, some people can't handle pressure. Some people it's hard. But when you look at all of this and you see throughout your journey all of this stuff and more, you got to endure. You got to make sure you endure. Not just a little bit, but through the whole thing. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon, a lifelong marathon. What is it that your soul is searching for? What is it that your soul wants? You gotta be able to want it. Figure it out if you don't know.
A purposeful thought. When we look at the double slit experiment, and we see that when particles are shot, microscopic particles like electrons or photons are shot through a tiny little slit, when they hit the back wall of that experiment, they create a wave pattern until we put an eyeball down there, a little looking glass or a camera to see what's going on. Then the electrons convert from becoming a wave into a particle and leave a digital print on the back of that experiment wall. Why is that? Because electrons make a conscious decision to collapse into digital matter based on conscious observation since the beginning of what we call time in this universe. The thought went out, conscious thought from the universal consciousness, God, whatever you want to call it. That thought then, if you really research string theory, began to vibrate these microscopic subatomic strings, which began to vibrate cymatic frequencies that emanated this universe into existence. The universe exists, according to quantum physics, as waves of potential until consciousness interacts with those waves and collapses it into what we call solid matter. We know that solid matter is actually an illusion. Distance is an illusion. Locality is also an illusion. And Thoth said, and I questioned the master, saying, what was this thought? Was it eternal? And answered me the dweller, saying, in the beginning, there was eternal thought. And for thought to be eternal, time must exist. So they had to inject time into a scenario in order to emphasize the fact that the thought was eternal. So into all pervading thought grew the law of time. Time, which exists through all space, floating in a smooth rhythmic movement that is eternally in a state of fixation. Time changes not, but all things change in time. This is written 36,000 years ago. For time is the...
Remember I said, remember that 36,000? And listen to what it's saying about time. The tablets are breaking down time to you in the detail that you have to be able to look at in the world. There are some countries that have places within them that don't operate off of time. Time doesn't exist. And people go there for a whole week and just live their lives. And there's no such thing as a clock. If you don't believe me, look it up. You might want to go there yourself. I might want to try and visit just to see.
Force that holds events separate, each in its own proper place. Time is not in motion, but ye move through time as your consciousness moves from one event to another. See, you don't actually physically move. You don't go anywhere. Quantum physics proves locality and distance is actually an illusion. What is moving through this ether? It is your mind that's moving. And guess what? There's only one mind. Your meat suit that you call your body, it exists as both a wave of light and solid matter. We are truly beings of light because all that exists in the third dimension is made of light. Light waves that we can't physically see with our human eyes because our human eyes can only see less than 1% of the light spectrum. But yet, physics.org put out an incredible article just a few years ago showing how matter converts from waves of potential into solid matter based on conscious observation. They actually caught a particle in transition, moving from a wave into solidity, giving us that illusion that gives us this perspective of a third dimensional realm that we inhabit. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around the fact that the only thing that exists here is consciousness. But as you heard me say before, if you look at the as above, so below from the Hermetic principles, you'll realize what I'm telling you is a fact.
Hear that? As above, so below. The Bible makes a lot of stuff be deemed evil. As above, so below. The thing has to do with the Baphomet and Satanists, heaven, earth, as in heaven, as on earth. I'm saying it backwards for a reason. For some of y'all that ain't getting it, I say it correctly. On earth as it is in heaven. And the reason I said it backwards is because the thing is, you got to realize some of the stuff in the Bible is backwards. You'll find that out if you start reading the Bible for yourself. And those who have read it for themselves and go and read the other books and actually go and see the history, they know the truth. Some will tell you, some won't. I remember a guy told me, this was when I was, shoot, it was so long ago I can't remember. But I was younger than I am now. And I remember a guy telling me the truth. He was a historian. He just got back from being able to go to the Vatican and read some of the scrolls. And he just said to me, he just walked up and said to me, "Do you know who you are?" And I said everything I knew who I was. And he told me no. He said everyone outside the US know who they are and who you are, but you don't know who you are. And I couldn't figure it out. We had the longest conversation, and then that's how my journey started. Was when the guy came back from the Vatican and told me who I was. And he gave me a spot to go and research. Because I didn't believe it. But I was able to put all the dots together. And by him doing that, it unlocked my mind to new truths. But at the end of it all being said and done, when will you unlock your mind to the truths that are hidden from you? Do you want to know the truth? Do you want to live a lie? What do you want? A lot of people don't know what they want. And the ones that know what they want don't know if they even really want it. They just want something. It's your soul. They want something bigger than just you. They want something greater. Now you gonna buy books, go find books, go to the library, rent out the books, or you can try to buy it off the library. Some libraries let you do that. There's a lot of free book stands. Gain the knowledge. When you find the right book stand, you might find a book in there that somebody put in there that they wanted to pass that knowledge on. But you gotta be willing to take that first step. Yeah, you're gonna fall, but you're gonna get back up. You're gonna fall again, you're gonna get back up. You're gonna fall again and get right back up. Unless you a person that quits and gives up. But I don't see that in you. I don't see a person that quits and give up. I see a person that just didn't get told the information on how to deal with the situation, let alone how to push through it and come out striving high with positivity and abundance on the other side of the mountain. Just because you can't see the other side of the mountain when you're standing on one side does not mean it's not there. You have to want it. If you don't want it, I don't know what to tell you. Keep living your life. Nothing against you. Not mad, not upset, but there are others, they want to know this information and learn it, study it, dissect it, and make it a part of them and who they are. And they want to pass on the knowledge. But what is it that you're going to pass on?
If you see your mind in your head, your brain inside of your skull, so to speak, and then magnify that from the micro to the macro, and then take it on as a universal consciousness. What's going on? What is the universe on a massive scale doing, right? If you look at your brain inside of your skull, locked in complete darkness, it doesn't know what's going on outside of itself. It has no clue. But your brain has what? Friends, hearing, sight, smelling, seeing, taste, touch, and everything else, all your senses. So your brain says to the sensory perception friends, hey guys, go out there and collect some data. Let me know what's going on. So the friends go out. They themselves don't know what they're collecting. Eyes go out and pick up photons, right? The fingers go out and touch things. The tongue tastes things. The nose smell things. The ears are hearing. They don't know what they're collecting. They're collecting data, raw data that they themselves cannot decipher. They transmit that information or that data to the brain, and then the brain sorts it all out and says, oh, this is what's going on out there. And then you navigate through this holographic matrix based on a holographic projection from your consciousness. The only thing that's moving here is your mind, not you. That's it. And there's only one. The universe has separated itself into Googles and Googles of entities to give the illusion of separation so that they can experience the life subjectively as individual entities or people, even a blade of grass or a rock, even the atoms that make up this book, this microphone. Everything is conscious. Because why? All atoms are conscious because the electrons that orbit the atoms are conscious because they can make conscious decisions based on observation and conscious thought. Time is not in motion, but ye move through time as your consciousness moves from one event to another. I, by time, yet exist. All in all, an eternal one existence. Eternal one, O-N-E, caps. They put all caps. O-N-E. We are all one. Know ye that even in the time ye are separate, ye are still one in all times existent. What Thoth is saying here, that even though we look to be separate individuals and our minds seem to be separate minds, completely detached from one another, he's saying, no, ye are still all one with a capital O-N-E, in all times existent. A reference here from In Search of Miraculous by Ph.D. Opensky. George Goodeve claimed man lives in life in sleep, and in sleep he dies. In other words, he was saying that people cannot perceive reality in their current states because they.
You hear that? In sleep, you die. When you go to sleep, you die, you come back. Why are you scared of death? You gotta die to be reborn again. Not just spiritually, but mentally, not physically. This ain't Illuminati stuff. It's just like as above, so below. Along with how Satanists talk about as above, so below, but they're tied to a Baphomet. But it's just the 7 Hermetic principles. And it's just like with this death. As long as you have fear, it's just because you don't know. But when you understand, the fear goes away. How many of y'all used to be scared of monsters? You realize when you got older, ain't no monsters. How many of y'all were scared of Large Marge, Freddy Krueger, Leprechaun in the Hood, Jason, Michael Myers? You know, think about all that stuff. Another one, vampires, zombies. So at the end of the day, why are you scared of death? You have a lot to lose, but your soul goes on. It goes on. The question is, does it come back here and do it all over again because it didn't learn? Or does it get to go and advance because it learned the knowledge it needed to learn to advance? What knowledge are you learning to advance yourself? What knowledge are you passing on? For there to be wisdom, it must be proven true and passed down to each generation. Well, if wisdom dies, but in it, with each generation, so does the knowledge. So when you look back at it all being said, as above, so below, time doesn't exist. What are you really doing? If they're talking about God's laws, think about that. Satanic people, I'm getting tired. I've been doing this for about 3 hours, 4, 5 hours straight now, non-stop. But Satanic people are following the natural laws of God. The people who are ruling and controlling the world and telling you everything they're going to do to you before they do it are following God's laws, the natural laws. So why can't you? What if following them laws was to get you millions? What if following them laws would have bring billions? What if following them laws brought you more wisdom? Will you share your truth with others so they can gain the wisdom? Because knowledge only goes as far as the person who shares it. Keeping it bottled up does no good to anybody. Not even the person who gains it. Because at some point, they got to teach somebody something they know. But if all of them are following the laws of natural law and it's God's law, why can't you follow it? Why can't you learn to study it and change and better your life? You can better others' lives, your families, your kids' lives. Go buy the book, The Kabbalion, and read it. Learn from it. Understand it. Read it 7 times if you have to. You'll know it
Do not
front.
possess a unified consciousness, but rather live in a state of hypnotic waking sleep. Figurative claims was that humans live in a waking dream and only a dream that they are awake. This state of waking sleep is also called relative consciousness. It is the level of consciousness that ordinary humans are born into. They live their lives and then die in, never waking into one or more objective states of full awareness. Because most humans are walking around in a state of waking sleep. They are never able to know who they truly are, and therefore they remain unaware of their true motivations and the casual forces which motivate them in their daily choices and activities. In conclusion, when humans cannot determine their true motivations and remain unaware, they lie to themselves, and thus their entire lives are lies. Reference is In Search of Miraculous by Ph.D. Opensky.
That is powerful. Are you lying to yourself? Are you living a life of lies? Are you living in truth? Are you gaining the knowledge of the truth, the wisdom? Or are you just hearing the truth and continuing to live your life as a lie? The world is a lot more bigger than you think it is. Once you learn the cycles and understand the flower of life, there's no limit to what you can do along with others when you unite.
Powerful. That is powerful. And guess what? I agree with him 1000%. There's people walking around out here that are soulless avatars simply operating on matrix programming. They're living, but they're not alive. And they're all around us. They're all over the place. People that have never woken up to who they truly actually are. They simply are operating on the code that they've been programmed and given since they were born, since they were in the womb at gestation. The same code, just running on programming, never exceeding the programming, never reprogramming the programming, never editing it, never hacking themselves, just running on the pure code and living a complete lie, believing that they're alive, but they're not. And Thoth said, now I'll go back to Thoth again.
Is that you? How many people you know around you living like that?
Cease then the voice of the dweller. He said, I'm done talking now. I gave you the knowledge. Now you got to go. You got to get out of here and act on it. And departed I to ponder on time. This guy said, you know what? As smart as I am, what my dad just told me, I need to go sit down and meditate on this. He said, departed I to ponder on time. I got to sit down. I got to digest this. Too many times we get the information, like the information I'm giving to you tonight, information from a workshop, information from an Instagram post or a video short or a reel or a TikTok or whatever. And then we just keep on scrolling. We keep on moving on, right? Oh, we got it. Oh, that was pretty deep. Let me keep on going. Let me just look for the next roll. Let me look for the next reel or TikTok or the next video clip. Wait a minute. Sit down and meditate on it for a second. Let the knowledge seep in. Stay in the present moment. Let your mind start to vibrate and get on the frequency of understanding. Let your mind begin to ask more questions so you can seek more answers. Don't just brush over deep knowledge as if it's like, nothing. Let it seep in for a second. And Thoth said, cease then the voice of the dweller, and departed I to ponder on time. For knew I that in these words lay wisdom and a way to explore the mysteries of time. Oft did I ponder the words of the dweller. This guy says, man, I can't get this off this stuff is embedded in my brain. I can't get it off I can't stop thinking about it now. It's deep. Then so tried to solve the mystery of time. So now he says, you know what? I got to take action. I got to figure this out. Found I that time moves.
How many people feel like that? When your soul eats at you to know. When your soul is searching for the truth. How many of y'all are going through that right now? Are you?
Through strange angles. Time moves in angles. Yet only by curves could I hope to attain the key that would give me access to the time space. Wow. Only by curves.
Only by curves. There ain't no straight lines in time.
In other words, the time is moving in angles, but to catch up to these angles to access the information, he had to move in curves. We're talking about the Fibonacci spiral now. We're talking about sacred geometry, right? This is what we're getting into now. We're talking about pi and phi. Now we're getting into mathematics.
The pi and phi is one of the equations I was solving when I was telling y'all about that dream where I went through an arch that was a stargate. And I saw all the knowledge. And then I was left with an equation when I left out. That was the equation. But It's a little bit deeper than that. It has some numbers with it. I'm not going to say the exact numbers, but all of that is to show that the knowledge is there. You have to just be willing to go and find it and seek it. And mathematics is going to be used a lot. If you hate math, I'm sorry, but it's the #1 universal language for all of it. It's all broken down into math. And when you see it, like, I can tell you another equation I got to see and understand. The equation you would see on a college professor's chalkboard. Where it's like all of these divisions, multiplications, and then you get all of these check marks. And you're just like, what is this? And then you got all of the square roots, and everything's coming together. But as you look at it, when you first glance at it, you don't know what it is. But the whole time, that was the formula. You're used to A minus B equals C. Well, that formula just got broken down into a scientific code. Which means everything has a scientific code to it, including you. Every atom, organism, it all has a scientific code to it. And it's up to you to figure out that code.
Golden rectangle, the golden section. Yet only by curves could I hope to attain the key that would give me access to the time space. Found I that only by moving upward and yet again moving rightward could I be free from the time of the movement. He's talking about shifting into another dimension in a 90-degree angle. How would he know this 36,000 years ago that modern day theoretical physicists hypothesize that we are living in a universe that has 11 dimensions and they're on top of each other, compactified? And yes, compactified is a real word. Look it up. I remember the last time I used that word, people were laughing in the comments. He made up a word. No, I didn't make up a word. That's what they teach you at the university. And to get access to these higher dimensions, they're in 90-degree angles right above each other, stacked and compactified. How would he know this 36,000 years ago? Found I that by moving upward and yet again moving rightward, I could be free from the time of the movement. Forth I came from out of my body, moved in the movements that changed me in time. Strange were the sights I saw in my journeys, many of the mysteries that opened to view. I saw man's beginning. Learned from the past that nothing is new. This man literally went through time in angles, went through dimensions. He went back in time. He saw the beginning of man and realized, wow, there was nothing new under the sun. Nothing at all.
How many times I'm going to keep telling y'all that? It's nothing new under the sun. It's all been here already. Society just fell off. Now it's trying to repeat it a little bit by dumbing down society again. But at the end of the day, it's all like this. If there's nothing new under the sun, it means there's nothing that you can do. You just got to be focused and disciplined. Also, the same way he was able to go forward and backward, dimension to dimension, you can too when you're sleeping. Meditate, try it. See where your brain takes you, or your subconscious anyway.
It says, I saw a man's beginning and learned from the past that nothing is new. Seek ye, O man, to learn the pathway that leads through the spaces that are formed forth in time. Forget not, O man, with all thy seeking, that light is the goal ye shall seek to attain. Your goal is to seek light. Your goal is to seek the light, not the dark. Search ye for the light on thy pathway, and ever for thee the goal shall endure. If you continue to seek light, your goal, your mission, your ascension will continue to endure. Let not shine the heart ever to darkness. Light let shine soul be a sun on the way. Know ye that eternal brightness, yea, shall ever find thy soul hid in light, never fettered by bondage or darkness, ever it shines forth a sun of the light. He's saying, stay away from the darkness. Stay away from the people that are entertaining dark ideas, dark concepts. Stay away from thoughts that entertain darkness. If those things come around you, escape them immediately. Keep your mind focused on positivity, enlightenment, wisdom, understanding, love, seeking the light.
See how he says seeking the light, the truth, the knowledge, the wisdom. You must stay focused on positivity and remove all negative from around you, because it'll hold you back. Your brain can't tell the difference between you and them. It just hears it. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you got to be willing to remove them people out of your life and change your environment. Because if not, you have no one to blame but yourself for the situation you're in and the situations you keep going through over and over and not learning the lesson from the situation in the first place. You just kept going through the cycle. When are you going to break it? And you're going to create your own cycle. Because then every other cycle attracts to you. Law of attraction, the Kabbalion. But all of this stuff and all of this knowledge, what are you going to do with it? What will you do with it? That's the real question. What will you do with it?
Light. That's what seeking the light means. I know through hidden in darkness, your soul, a spark of the true flame exists. Be ye one with the greatest of all lights. That's one with the universal source. Find the source, the end of thy goal. Light is life, for without the great light, nothing can ever exist. That's powerful. Understanding that light always rules over darkness. Even though we have yin and yang, we have good and bad, we have darkness and light in the universe, we know that light is more powerful than darkness. And how do we know that? Well, I'm sitting in a well-lit room, and there's no way that I can inject any little bit of darkness into this room that would make this room dark. I can't inject darkness here to make the room dark. But if I turn all these lights off and just simply do something like turn on my camera flashlight, just that little flashlight from my camera will make the darkness flee. It will run from that little tiny light coming out of my phone. But I can't inject. Look, my screen is dark right now. I can't inject darkness into this room from a dark screen. But if I turn on my flashlight and turn these lights off, guess what happens? The darkness runs away from the light. Know ye that in all form matter, the heart of light always exists. Always. Everything in this matrix is made of light. If you take two atoms and smash them together at CERN, at the LHC, the Large Hadron Collider in Switzerland, you'll find that what are these particles made of? The essence of them is made of light, waves of light. Even though bound in darkness, inherent light always exists. Once I stood in the halls of Amenti and heard the voice of the lords of Amenti, saying in tones that rang through the silence, words of power, mighty and potent, chanted they the song of the cycles, the words that opened the path to the beyond. I saw the great path opened and looked for the instant into the beyond. So the movement of the cycles. Vast was the thought of the source could convey. Knew I even infinity is moving on some unthinkable end. Even infinity is moving according to a specific law. So that the cosmos is order and part of a movement that extends into all space. A party of an order of orders, constantly moving in harmony of space. This is powerful stuff. Even the cosmos obeys these laws. There's an order to everything. Second law of thermodynamics.
I'm gonna keep telling y'all there's rules to this life and this game. Once you learn the rules, you'll understand. The planets follow order, the solar system follow order, and the order they follow are the same laws. It's all a balance system. You have to balance yourself, your life. As long as you're unbalanced, you won't be able to grasp nor handle the things that you do. When you balance yourself, you'll be surprised at the things you're able to endure and understand how to deal with them. It'll be shocking.
We know that everything moves through entropy, moves from an ordered state to a disordered state, and then recongeals and comes back to an ordered state again as a different form. Energy can't be destroyed, it can only be transformed. So the wheeling of cycles like vast circles across the sky. Knew I then that has being is growing and meet to another being is far off grouping of space and time. Knew I that in the words are power to open the planes that are hidden from man. That even words lie hidden in the key that will open above and below. He's talking about cymatic frequencies that have the capability of transcending dimensions. You can transcend dimensions through cymatic frequencies. You can transcend space and time through frequencies. Everything is all about the frequency of the words. Words, people conceive words as I'm speaking English, or I'm speaking Spanish, or I'm speaking Russian, or whatever it is. What you're actually doing is you are emanating a cymatic vibration from your vocal box that rides on atmospheric gases until it reaches somebody's cochlea inside their ear, and then the brain deciphers it and gets the signal as to what it believes you are trying to convey, the message you're trying to convey. That's how it works. But on a universal scale, these cymatic frequencies and vibrations on a subatomic level literally are creating reality as we know it. Harkee now, man. This word I leave with thee. Use it, and ye shall find power in its sound. Say ye the word, Zin Uru, and power ye shall find. See, when you say this word, Zin Uru, Zin, Z-I-N, Uru, U-R-U, it's a cymatic frequency. It emanates a particular frequency into space-time that has power. Every time you speak, you're casting a spell. Every word, that's why they call it spelling. Every word you say is about casting spells. You're trying to create a reality that's good for you.
This is why they say for you to read Psalms in the Bible. It's a book of spells. It's another reason why they say be careful what you say out of your mouth, for the tongue is more mightier than the sword. Dude, when you say certain stuff, you could be cursing yourself rather than others. So be careful what you say.
Reality that you want. You want things to turn out to benefit you in a specific way every time you speak. Saying this word Zin Uru has that effect over space-time when you back it with conscious thought behind saying this, making the statement. You misunderstand that man is of light and light is of man. Remember, I told you earlier that scientists discovered that a human being is both a wave of potentials, waves of what? Light, and also solid matter. So we are all light beings, but also our consciousness is also light. Listen, yo, man, and hear a mystery, stranger than all that lies neath the sun. Know ye, yo, man, that all space is filled with worlds within worlds. I, one within each other, yet separate by law. We're talking about dimensions. Each dimension, we know now that there are 11 dimensions that make up our universe. If there were more than 11 or less than 11, the universe would collapse. It wouldn't become stable. So in order to have this universe with these laws of physics stable, we need 11 dimensions. That the human brain connects to 11 dimensions. That was done at the Brain Institute. They discovered this. So we are multidimensional beings having a three-dimensional experience, but our connection is multidimensional, and we are connected to these higher dimensions. Once in search for deep buried wisdom, I open the door that bars them from man. Called I from the other planes of being. Other planes, he's talking about other dimensions. One who was furrier than the daughters of men. I called her from out of the spaces. We're talking about dimensions. To shine as a light to the world of men. Use I the drum of the serpent. We're talking about knowledge and wisdom and a vibration. Wore I the robe of the purple and gold. Placed on my head, I, the crown of silver. Around me the circle of cinnabar shone. Raised I my arms and cried the invocation that opens a path to the planes beyond. This man is opening dimensions through cymatics coming out of his own voice. He's not using any type of technology. He's not using a large hadron collider at CERN like in Switzerland. This guy is doing this based on conscious, adept, initiate wisdom and knowledge, utilizing his own vocal box to create cymatic frequencies that hack space-time itself. Cried I to the lords of the signs in their houses, lords of the two horizons, watchers of the treble gates. Stand ye one at the right and one at the left, as the star rises to its throne and rules over his sign. I'm talking about star alignments now, and constellations moving in correlation to the precession of the equinoxes. I, thou prince of Arulu, open the gates of the dim, hidden land, and release whom ye have imprisoned. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye, dark lords of shining ones, and by their secret names, names which I know and can pronounce, hear ye and obey my will. Now he's commanding the darkness. Lit I then the flame of my circle, and called her in the space plains beyond. Daughter of light, return from Arulu. 7 times and 7 times have I passed through the fire, and found I have not eaten, water I have not drunk. I call thee from Arulu, from the realms of Urkeshko. I summon thee, Lady of Night. This is powerful stuff. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine 36,000 years ago? According to mainstream, we were like hunter-gatherers, just trying to find scraps on the ground and scavenging to eat, and trying to, group hunt mammoths and all this kind of crazy stuff, and living out of caves and everything else. And at the same time that's all supposed to be going on, this is being written. This is being written. All right? So let me ask you this question based on bare bones logic. If you're living in a civilization where your main goal of the day is to survive and just find some type of food and shelter, do you have time to write these kind of works of art? Do you have time to understand quantum physics, quantum mechanics, theoretical physics, philosophy, frequencies and vibrations? Do you have time for that? So something ain't adding up. Either some people came here with some real knowledge, or they don't want us to know that these people came here with the real knowledge, because they don't teach you this in school. Fear is the Lord of the dark Arulu. Fear. Fear is the Lord of the dark Arulu. To he who never faced dark fear, know that fear has existence created by those who are bound by their fears. Shake off thy bondage, O children, and walk in the light of the glorious day. Fear, what does fear mean? What is fear an acronym of? False evidence appearing real. Fear is a choice. What do they pump on the news 24/7 on the mainstream news? They pump fear. What do they pump nonstop? Is fear, fear, fear. Why do they do that? Because fear puts you in a malleable state of mind so they can control you. They are master puppeteers. What does he say about this? Fear is the Lord of Arulu, of the dark Arulu. What he's saying is, if you were watching those news clips and you're walking and living in fear, like the people that are still walking around wearing masks and stuff like that, they're so afraid, those masks ain't stopping anything. Are you kidding me? Microscopic viruses flow through the mask like it doesn't even exist. It has no effect on a microscopic. None. It's like throwing a basketball into the ocean. If anything, it's spreading more germs because you keep taking it off and putting it in your pocket and putting it in your purse and touching everything with it, right? But fear becomes your Lord. That means fear becomes your God. And you worship fear like you worship your God. But you're not aware that you're doing that until I just told you. When you're living in a state of fear, which is a low frequency, it becomes your Lord. Never turn thy thoughts into darkness, and surely ye shall be one with the light. Man is only what he believeth. Man is only what he believeth. A brother of darkness or a child of light. Which one are you? Are you darkness or are you light? If you believe you're light, then act like it. Drop the fear. Fear is a choice. False evidence appearing real. A brother of darkness or a child of light. Come through into the light, my children. Walk in the pathway that leads to the sun. The S-U-N, the sun. What did Thoth call himself? A son of Atlantis, spelled S-U-N. He also called himself a son of man, an S-U-N of man. In the Bible, it's mistranslated as S-O-N by accident on purpose. When Jesus calls himself the Son of Man, he's calling himself the Son, S-U-N, of man. Just like Thoth is. Why would he do that? Because he learned this from the Egyptian mysteries, because he studied from Thoth directly when he went to live in Egypt. That's why he calls himself the Son of Man in the Bible. Nobody ever asked, why does he call himself the Son of Man? He's supposed to be the Son of God. No, he's a son of man. S-U-N, a light. He's a beacon, right? He's a lighthouse in the darkness. Walk in the pathway that leads to the sun. Hark ye now, and list to the wisdom. Use thou the word I have given unto thee. Use it, and surely thou shalt find power and wisdom. Zen Uru. And light to walk in the way. Seek thee and find the key I have given, and ever shalt thou be a child of the light. Ooh, wow. That's a powerful chapter right there that we just went through. And I'm going to be doing the entire book on Forbidden Knowledge TV. It's going to be amazing. That was The Key of Time, Emerald Tablet number 10 from my book, Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Make sure you get it on Amazon.com. If you don't have it yet, it's still #1. It's the #1 bestseller in 5 countries. And it's pretty much printed and sold in every single country right now, right? And I'm not saying that to brag. What I'm saying is there's something about that information that is lighting up the world. And so it's pretty important. The Emerald Tablets is really some deep, deep, deep wisdom and knowledge. You can't read them just once. You've got to read them dozens and dozens of times. And the more you read them, the more wisdom and knowledge you gain. The more information comes into your head, all right? The more insight you get, the more perspective you get, right? And so it's a powerful, powerful thing. And so from time to time, I like to share that